back and forth all the life. So what's a big difference between Florida and Philadelphia?
Well, obviously Philly is more fast-paced than Florida. Florida is more like, the area I was in is more like a retired state. That's where you go when you're finished, when you're married, you want to have your kids and all the other stuff like that. And everything's different, like, to the school system, the way people treat you. Mostly people here in Philly, you know, you mostly everybody walking around. They're saying hi, how you doing? You sit on the porch, or engaging in a conversation. In Florida, mostly everybody's in the house because the transportation system is different. So a lot of people driving, not too many people like hanging outside. It's more like what you guys would call the suburbs.
Right, okay.
All of Fort Lauderdale is suburbs.
It's a suburb. Okay. So what are the schools like compared to Florida? Not really education system, but is the system different here and there compared?
To me, yeah. Compared to, let's see, so since I went there since elementary school, the schools in Florida are more structured, they're more organized, and even down to like how the appearance of the school and the appearance of the students, hygiene, how they want you to look when you come to school. And of course, when I was going to school, we didn't have any uniforms. But they still wanted you to be well groomed.
Like you still carried yourself well.
The classrooms, they weren't overcrowded, they weren't cluttered. But now, like, as now I see my daughter growing up in here, like, that was one of my biggest things about moving back to Philly. Because when I moved back to Philly, my daughter was 1. And my biggest concern was the school system. Because when I would grow up, I used to call my cousin Tasha. We would talk all the time about schools and stuff. And she would say how this person got jumped or this person got robbed in school and stuff like that. Oh, wow. Like they would get jumped for their leather coats or their shoes or something like that. So that was like my biggest fear. You know what I'm saying? Because that is my first child. I was kind of iffy about bringing her back and how she was going to be in school. So when she started school, like kindergarten, I had like the biggest anxiety, like mother-daughter separation, and she was just going to kindergarten. So I figured like how much could happen, but you never realize until you go in there.
So how are the schools in Philadelphia? How did you?
Well, they're okay. Well, they are like the schools in Florida. They look like castles. They're very nice. They're very clean. They're groomed outside. The landscaping is different. And like here in Philly, it's just a building. You don't know if it's condemned or
not.
Right. You don't know if it's open or not. It's no pride in what the outside of the school look like. Even to like when you walk on the inside, there's no pride in what people look like or how they care about how they treat the students and stuff like that.
Wow. You know, I never thought about that because some schools, you really don't know if it's open or not. You got to go to 4 or 5 doors before you can even get in.
Exactly. And then you're knocking on the door for a half hour to get in.
I never thought about that.
So you never know. Like sometimes we would ride by, and like for instance, like my mom, she graduated from Bartram, and like we would ride by there, and she would just say like how it wasn't even like that when she went to school, like how I just came down, and like if I would look through her yearbook and I would see the school building, like when it was first opened, it's gorgeous. But now it just look like I said, you don't even know if it's open or not because everybody's hanging out outside instead of like going to class and stuff like that.
What was it like for you in Philly?
Well, I wasn't over here.
Where'd you grow up at?
I grew up in Montgomery County.
Say it again?
Montgomery County.
And what's that?
That's like Cheltenham area.
Oh, out top?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the difference between Cheltenham and Philly? Is there a big difference?
Not really. I mean, in Philly, it's like, to me, I noticed like there's less trees.
Oh yeah, they ain't got no trees. Concrete jungle.
Yeah. Just sidewalks and streets. Like you get little trees here and there, but not a lot, not as much as the county. I love the county.
It makes a difference in how you feel, huh?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I love the county.
Yeah, you know what? I never thought about that. That life adds to living life itself. You know. So what year did you move to Philadelphia?
I moved to Philadelphia in '06 when they were born.
Okay, so you already grown out of school and everything. So did you see it when you started putting them in school? What was the main difference you seen with their schooling than you saw with your schooling?
Their school, the city schools are horrible. I can't stand them.
Bring that back.
Yeah, because they don't focus on like the kids actually getting the education that the county would.
What do they? So explain that to me.
Like in the county, they make sure they want you to do the work.
So the county, they focus on.
Yeah, they focus on the schooling. Like they make sure you do your work. If you don't, you're disciplined.
There's no discipline in city schools.
No.
You don't do it, oh well.
Right. That's what I'm saying, and that's what I don't like. And then they got this no child left behind crap. If they're not ready for it, how you gonna push them forward?
Right. So make sure they learn.
Right.
Don't just try to fill the quota. Make sure the children learn.
Right. Because there's a lot of children out here that can't read. Like when I sent my children to this school, and the two younger ones can spell their name, spell their last name, know how to read, and the principal was just amazed. Like, not a lot of these kids know how to do that.
Right.
That's terrible.
Right. Because you know what? They don't teach them to.
Exactly.
Right.
That's why I like it when I had them in private schools. Because it's not as many kids and they can focus on them.
Right.
And break everything down and make sure they get it.
Right.
With the city schools, they don't do that. Because there's so many, and then you got these badass kids that don't want to learn.
A much broader lack of respect for adults. Like when we were growing up, and I wasn't a good kid. I was a problem child. I was a bad kid. But when an adult came around, I knew to stay my spot as a child and not do certain things. Like I wouldn't cuss in front of an adult. Period. Now I was out. I was on 20th Street a couple weeks ago with the Dow, and some kids was walking from school. So I looked over at the kids, like 3 or 4 10-year-olds said to me, "What you looking at, man?"
For real?
Little dudes.
Yeah,
What you looking at?
yeah.
What you looking at? I said, "Do you see this?" And that was just like, "What? What you looking at?"
Respect.
Yeah. And I was like, we just started laughing because it was like, dude, you like 9.
Yeah. Y'all can't add up to my age. Just stack on top of each other.
Yeah. They just like, you got a problem? I was just looking at the school. I wasn't a problem.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's like, it's like a serious lack of respect for older people. Like younger people think they're more equal than what they should think they are.
You know, I